sometimes after the kids are gone, people realize they have nothing in common anymore, and they stay married even though they're miserable together. And I don't know why they want to sign up for 20 more years of misery, as if it makes them a good person to stay. And I want to just throw out a couple other options that people have when they feel miserable in their relationship, because the last 3 years of my 25-year marriage, I was miserable in my relationship. And these are the things I wish someone had told me. That, well, assuming you're not like a narcissist or an entitled, grandiose person, assuming that you're someone like me who likes to look at their part and wants to have a healthy relationship, and you're married to someone who doesn't give a shit because they have emotional walls or sexual walls, and it's very disappointing to be in a relationship with someone who is emotionally unavailable and sexually cold or sexually unavailable. And so here are some things that I wish I knew, because for years I was trying to figure out why he was not warmer to me, even though he was a good person. This is what I wish I had known. Number one, when I tell someone, if I tell my partner I'm really unhappy in this relationship, and they see me crying, a healthy person is going to care that you're sad. They're not going to get angry with you for being sad. They're not going to ignore you. In my case, he would get mad when I was upset, especially when I was upset about him. But think about it. When it comes to other people you love, your pets, your children, when they're upset with you, you care. You want to comfort them. You want to find out what's the problem. Or with a friend, why are you upset? Can we work it out? But when your spouse doesn't care and actually gets mad at you, that's a problem. Okay, so I'm just giving you some things that you might not think are bad. This is a bad thing. If you're unhappy in your relationship and your spouse doesn't care about the relationship, or that you're upset, they probably don't care about the relationship as much as you do. Okay, so that's a thing that I had never considered. Number two, if you are unhappy in the relationship, I would suggest, you can take it or leave it, that you say, I really miss how things were between us. Do you miss it too? Not accusing or yelling or something, but some intimate, vulnerable connection. And I would like to go to therapy. If the person who cares about you and cares about a relationship is going to want to go. But if they don't want to go, it's a huge red flag. It means they don't care about you, they don't care about the relationship, and or, probably all three, they do not want to take any accountability for their part. They don't want to look at themselves. They don't want to change anything. That means nothing is going to change, and you've got another 20 years of misery. The other option is to consider divorce. Divorce is liberating yourself from someone who is invalidating you, devaluing you, ignoring you, rejecting you, sexually rejecting you, emotionally rejecting you. But here's the important thing to know, is to kind of figure out, okay, am I the problem, or is this person the problem? Because some people watching this video could be what's called the perpetrator. They're always blaming and accusing, because there are men who will go up to their wives and go, why don't you ever give me sex? You never give me sex. That is not the way to do it, because now you're a bully. Okay? So it's really good to go into therapy and figure some things out. Like, am I a bully? Or am I just being like fawning codependent? Am I trying to put up with things? What are my needs? What do I want in a relationship? What are my real feelings? And learning to honor your feelings and be with them and figure out really who you are and what you really want, and kind of get some clarity. because even if your spouse doesn't go, you can figure some things out. And divorce is an option. It's a liberating option. I don't think it's the first option. I always think people, if divorce is a way to run away, I don't think that's such a great idea. But why be in a relationship with someone who is not engaged in the relationship, who's checked out? And I will tell you this, through therapy, I've sat in, Terry Real does couples workshops that he has like 5 couples that therapists can watch, and coaches over a 2-day period. And I've participated in 2 of those. And I have seen people who were married for 20 or 30 years transform in these workshops. You can transform your marriage with a good therapist and get the aliveness back, the love back, the intimacy back. You can rejuvenate your marriage if both of you want to go. But again, as to point number 2 I made, if your spouse doesn't want to go to therapy, nothing's going to fucking change. And then I think by staying, we just traumatize ourselves. We are not put on earth to be in relationships with people who don't give a shit. And the ultimatum is, if you don't go to therapy with me, this marriage is over. And then see if this person will go. Sometimes that's when people will go. They don't want to lose you. But sometimes they don't even care. In my ex-husband's case, even though he was in love with me, don't leave any comments about how he left me. He didn't fucking leave me. He cried for 6 months afterwards. The kids heard him cry every night, and he couldn't sleep. But it was easier for him to let me go than to look at himself. So for some people, looking at themselves is so scary, they will never do it. They'd rather lose you. And number 2, like in my ex-husband's case, what he and I want out of a relationship is very different. He didn't appreciate my spirituality and my sexuality. He wanted other things, like a worker bee. And he found a worker bee. Someone who likes to work, and make money. And I guess wasn't so interested in emotional connection and intimacy discussions and relationship discussions, and they have that and they're happy together. So sometimes it's just like, okay, why are we even together? Do we even have a friendship? Do we have shared values? Do we have a shared passion? Like, why are we even together? Because we always were? Because our kids will be sad? They're gonna fucking get over it. So this is what I have to say about people who have been in a relationship for a long time. And when I hear guys say, oh, I don't want to divorce my wife because of my money, grow the fuck up. You're going to die without your money. Don't be so fucking attached to your money. Do some therapy about why you're so attached to your money, because your money can leave. The banks can go under. The real estate market can go under. There's no security in the external world anyway. And holding on to that money or holding on to material things keeps you very stuck. It's very liberating to let go, and sometimes the world makes you let go. You lose everything. And it's when you lose everything and you're willing to lose everything that you feel the real joy in life. I don't have a lot of money, but I'm so happy because I surrender to life every day. I just surrender to life and I trust. And there's a joy and there's a freedom in getting out of ruts and clutching onto things. I have money too. I have it in various places, but I know it can all be gone in an instant. It can all be gone. It can all be gone. It's material. A storm can come, a bank can go under, a building can collapse, anything can happen. So this is later in life is a spiritual time of life. It's a letting go of things that don't serve us and finding like a new reason. Exploring your sexuality, exploring your spiritual life, starting a new business, leaving a dead relationship. Divorce is a chance for renewal. if your spouse doesn't want to change. And a lot of them don't, because can you imagine living with the same person for 50 years? I mean, some people can, but oh my God. It sounds very dreadful. That's what I think about people who stay together because they value I don't even want to say it's safety. They're afraid. They think they're so courageous, but they're afraid. And it is scary to change your whole freaking life. But it's so joyful. It's so joyful too. To live, living with someone who hates you or who's depressed or whatever is not very good. My home is peaceful. My home is happy. My home feels safe. It's good energy here. There's nobody here ever who brings me down or puts me down or ruins my day ever. It is always a good time, good vibes at Sharzad's house. Always. Because now I don't let any people in here who try to bring me down, who don't like my sexuality, who don't like my meditation. If you don't like it, get the fuck out of here. I don't need you. But, I had to do years of compromising and putting up with and trying to be okay with and shoving myself into a box. Because, that's what it is when you're married to someone that you don't have a lot in common with, ever, really. And if the sex isn't good, I don't want it. That's why I don't care if the guys have money. I want good sex, good connection, and good friendship. But what do you want? What's important to you? Do you want someone who travels with you, starts a business with you? I'm talking to the people who are older, not you young people watching my videos. Do you want someone who's you enjoy good conversation, like the couple on Breaking Points, Crystal and Kyle? What they have in common is their interest in the news, bringing news, honest news, and being entrepreneurs. And by the way, she's 6 years older than he is, and she has 3 kids. And he's kind of hot and younger. I would say he's pretty hot. So, they have that in common. And he's totally in love with her kids. You could have a shared business, shared dreams, love of travel. I mean, I don't know. You got to think about what do you want out of a relationship? And have you ever had that with your partner? And does your partner want to work on things? Does your partner care about the relationship? I had a friend tell me years ago that his friends went to therapy, and the therapist asked them each to, put their backs to each other and hold up hands from 1 to 10 of how important this relationship was to them, how badly they wanted to fix it. And I think the guy put up 8 and the woman put up a 2. And he didn't even know it. She had already checked out a long time ago. So maybe you're with someone who's already checked out a long time ago. Like, why are you there? Why are you there in your marriage? Are you really wanted? Or is your spouse also just kind of putting up with you? And it's okay if you're afraid to leave, but don't let that stop you. So, again, looking at your own part first, trying to get your partner to therapy second, and if they won't go, divorce. You don't owe anyone a relationship. You do not fucking owe anyone a relationship. And if your kids are gone, why are you there? In my opinion. But hey, you guys can stay. I don't really care what people do. I'm just sharing my own opinion because I will never again get into a relationship with anyone unless I enjoy that person's company, and I will never again get married. I doubt I will ever again get married. Like, why? That's all I have to say in this video, and thank you for watching. Maybe I would get married, but I think marriage is more like a financial contract that benefits the woman. Like, why would a guy get married? It doesn't really serve the guy at all, frankly. especially if there are no kids involved, you know. I think that if a woman wants kids, she needs financial security, because if she's going to raise the kids, she needs financial security. And there's a great value in that. For younger women, I definitely think that the man should support the younger women, my personal opinion, because the value of moms is really undervalued in our society, and we need good moms. But at my age, like, why? That's all I want to say.